I went from a college dropout with absolutely no skills and just a passion for sports to generating well over 8 figures as a sports bettor. And let me tell you guys, it wasn't always that easy. It wasn't just an incredible leap from nothing to, something, right? It took a lot of lessons, painful errors, blowing bankrolls, chasing losses, emotional outbursts, and a lot of learning. I've been doing this over 12 years. I've absolutely seen it all. And it took a lot of those valuable lessons before I was ever able to successfully make it as a sports bettor. The reality is that if you guys try to do this on your own, it's extremely difficult. But if you have the right people, the right mentors, the right people in place to help you, to guide you through the process, it will make it very, very easy for you to be successful.
Baseball is the most predictable sport to bet on, yet most bettors lose. Why? Because they're using NFL-style strategies in a sport that plays 162 games a year and lives on data. In this video, I'm breaking down MLB betting strategies you should be using, but probably aren't. Let's dive right in. Most casual bettors, they look at starting pitching and stop there. Sure, a pitcher can dominate, but they only last 5 to 6 innings, especially when it's the starting pitcher. And that's the average nowadays, especially with the new clock and all of the new rules that have emerged in the last few years. That leaves nearly half of the game in the hands of the bullpens. So here's what you should actually be doing. Look at bullpen ERA, WHIP, and how many innings they've pitched over the past 5 days. Has the team's closer been overused? Is the setup man potentially going to rest? Bullpen fatigue matters more in baseball than you think, especially in a long series or when a team has played a bunch of consecutive close games. So don't just cap the starter. Make sure you cap the bullpen too, because that's half of the picture. Here's another extremely underrated factor that a lot of people don't look at. MLB players play nearly every single day. Travel days, cross-country flights, and playing 15 innings the night before do have an effect, whether you like to believe it or not. So here's some key angles that you should always be looking at, and things that I personally like to do. I like to fade teams on the last leg of a road trip. Obviously, this is not a one-size-fits-all, and I don't do it on every single team on every single game, but that is an angle to look at. Look at teams coming off a Sunday night baseball game and then flying across time zones, especially if it's multiple time zones. Back rested home teams versus tired road teams. Books don't always price these things in, but you should if you want to be a sharp and smart bettor. So, let's talk about another very, very important thing. Baseball is the only sport where stadium size and weather drastically change the outcome of a game potentially. Here's how you can use this information. First, ballpark factors. Use ballpark factors such as Coors Field, Great American Ballpark, and Fenway. They all play completely different than a Tropicana or an Oracle Park. You have to check wind speed, you have to check wind direction, right? 10 plus mile per hour wind blowing out is potentially a really good spot for the over. Or a lot of teams with power bats are gonna have a higher likelihood of hitting balls out of the ballpark. If you have high humidity and heat, balls will travel farther. Cold, and the bats are gonna be more likely dead. Betting on totals, you better be checking that weather, and you should also be checking weather and factoring in how your lineup will perform against certain pitchers and certain environments and certain ballparks. All right, now let's talk market intelligence. If you are betting the same side as 85% of the public, but the line is moving the other way, that is something known as reverse line movement, and it's often a big red flag. Here's what you should do when you're looking for things like this. First, use tools like Action Network, Covers, or OddsShark to track percentage of bets versus percentage of money. Follow sharp steam moves. Quick 5 to 10 cent line shifts often indicate pro money or sharp money coming in on a specific side or line. Look for totals that open at 8.5, for example, and drop to 7.5, even though the public is hammering the over. The lines tell a story, and if you're able to read the lines and learn to read them, you will be very, very successful and be able to beat the books long term with consistency. Do you want to eliminate the randomness of bullpens? Look at first 5 inning bets. Here's why they work. You're only typically betting on the starting pitching matchups, unless obviously one starting pitcher gets injured or a starting pitcher gets hit up early. Then obviously the bullpen may come in, but more often than not, the starting pitcher will complete 5 innings. This is great for backing elite starters on bad teams. Think 2023 Ohtani, or 2024 Garrett Crochet, or 2025 Paul Skeens. This also helps avoid blown saves and late game volatility that comes with bullpens. This is a sharp angle, and an angle that most recreational bettors don't touch or even think about. But the sharps, they absolutely love it because it avoids more variance and it creates more predictability, which is exactly what pro and sharp bettors are looking for. Now, let's talk about one more thing, which is very, very important. Bankroll management. You can have a winning record, but still lose money if your bet sizing is all over the place. In baseball, variance is real. So you're probably going, Anon, how can I lose money if I have a winning record? Well, if you choose to bet 500 on one game and then the next game you bet 200 and then you suddenly bet 1,000, even if you win the games that you bet 500 and 200 on, the game that you bet 1,000 on loses, you have a winning record, you went 2-1, but you're still in the negative. So having bankroll management, unit sizes, and a disciplined system is extremely important. You need to stick to flat betting or unit-based systems. Do not chase losses, do not take parlays, and most importantly, do not chase losses with parlays. And last but not least, you have to accept that even the most elite MLB cappers in the world cannot win every single game. If somebody could possibly win every single game, the sports books would not exist and these individuals would be worth billions, if not trillions of dollars. Discipline is what wins long term. It's a grind. Treat it like one. As I'm sure you've realized over the past few months and from watching this video, baseball is very, very beatable if you treat it with respect and you have a plan to know what to do. Stop thinking like a fan or a casual and start thinking and betting like a market analyst. If this video helped you, drop a like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what sport you want betting advice for on next. Until then, bet smart, stay sharp, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for tuning in.
Listen, sports betting is not an easy game, and I understand it because I've been there and I've done that, right? If you want to take a shortcut and stop having to figure all the tough things out and create your own data models and probability models and dealing with statistics and all the stuff that comes with it, I have a very easy shortcut for you. Join my community. I've got thousands of members that simply copy and paste my plays. I spend the hard-earned money, the hard-earned time, and I do all the hard work to find the value on the board every single day. All you have to do is just copy and paste my plays. If you guys are interested in that or even want a free play, check the description down below.